The screech of a chainsaw ripped through my world as I turned onto Elm Street, my sedan's hum drowned out by the splintering roar of steel shredding timber. My pulse surged, a sickening dread pooling in my gut. Through the windshield, cedar chips sprayed like shrapnel across my lawn, desecrating the fence my wife, Laura, and I had poured 3 weekends of sweat into building. A hulking man in an orange vest stood there, chainsaw gnashing through our handiwork. This was our haven, our escape from the city's chaos, and someone was tearing it apart. I slammed the car into park, engine still growling, and hit the pavement before the door shut. Rage burned through me, screaming to charge the guy and make him pay. But I'm not that man anymore. I'm the one who thinks, plans, wins. Taking a shaky breath, I clenched my fists until my knuckles bleached and walked slow, deliberate steps toward the chaos. On the sidewalk stood Patricia, the HOA president, clutching a latte and a rolled-up flyer like a queen's scepter. Her smile was sharp, her eyes cold as ice. Behind her, our fence Laura's pride, my battle scars lay in jagged ruins. Afternoon, David. Patricia purred, her voice dripping with venomous charm. Just sprucing up the community. The chainsaw choked to a stop, leaving a silence louder than the noise. Laura burst from the house, her face ghost white, eyes wide with disbelief. She saw the wreckage, then me, her hand flying to her mouth. Her tears lit a fire in my soul, but I gave her a nod. "You got this. Go inside." Laura, my heart, my strength, hesitated, then retreated. I turned to Patricia, voice low and lethal. "You've got 3 seconds to explain why your goon is turning my fence into kindling." She laughed, a harsh, grating bark, and waved her flyer. "It's all here, David. The beautification committee needs a direct path to the lake. Your fence was in the way. This is for the greater good." I stared, dumbfounded. A shortcut? She'd obliterated thousands of dollars of our property because she couldn't walk an extra 50 feet. The audacity was staggering. "You think you can chainsaw my property for your convenience?" I asked, voice steady but razor-sharp. "Our bylaws grant the HOA broad authority," she said, smirk tightening. "This is an official access corridor now." The worker wouldn't meet my eyes, guilt written all over him. My mind raced scream, fight or plan. The cunning part of me, forged in darker days, whispered, "Don't get mad. Get even." I flashed a predatory smile. "A shortcut, huh? You're right, Patricia. It'll be shorter than you think." Her confidence flickered. She wasn't used to defiance. I turned and walked back to my house, her gaze burning into me. She thought she'd won. She had no idea what she'd started. Inside, Laura's voice quaked. "David, what are you going to do?" I headed to my office, yanking the blinds shut. "I'm going to read the fine print, honey." Patricia wanted a war over land. She didn't know I fought with paperwork, and I was about to bury her. This wasn't just about a chainsaw. It started with a dream, Laura and I fleeing the city for a quiet life in Cedar Grove. The brochure promised green lawns and happy families, not a tyrant named Patricia. We learned her ways slowly. First came a notice about our welcome matte brown, not the approved beige or gray. A $25 fine followed. I scoffed, Laura fretted. We bought a gray mat, but it was a glimpse of Patricia's grip. Our neighbor, Henry, a grizzled retiree in loud Hawaiian shirts, filled us in. He called her Queen Patricia, scourge of joy, ruler of fines. He spun tales of her reign, banning porch packages, forcing mailboxes repainted by her cousin's overpriced contractor. Every move was about power or profit. Henry's stories were grimly funny. Patricia wasn't just petty. She was a predator, her control a twisted outlet after her husband left her broke. Laura hoped compliance would keep us safe, but I knew better. Bullies like Patricia feast on submission. The fence was my breaking point. It wasn't just wood, it was our home, our peace. Patricia's chainsaw was a declaration of war. Henry's call that afternoon sparked a fire. "Heard about the fence," he said. "A guy once said her power's shaky, something about the HOA charter and odd land." That was my thread. Patricia played checkers. I was about to flip the board. My office became my war room. I dove into the county assessor's website, navigating plat maps and tax records. I found our lot, Patricia's lot, and the strip where my fence lay in ruins. Parcel 6A, an orphan parcel, owned by a bankrupt developer. Taxes unpaid for 3 years. My heart pounded. This was gold. Patricia had trespassed on unowned land to destroy my property. I found it on the county auction site. Opening bid, $115. Laura saw my focus. "You're buying it, aren't you?" she whispered, anxious. "She's in our yard, Laura," I said. "I'm building a cage." I bid anonymously, watching the auction like a hawk. No one wanted this useless strip. At 5 p.m., I won. Parcel 6A was mine. That night, I called a 24-hour fencing company. By dawn, a 6-foot iron wall stood where Patricia's shortcut once was, a stark, unyielding barrier. I sat on my porch with coffee, waiting. At 7:30 a.m., Patricia emerged, latte in hand, and froze. Her mug shattered on her driveway as she gripped the bars, shrieking, "What is this?" I sipped my coffee. "Morning, Patricia. Like my new fence? It's on my property. Bought it at auction. Taxes were overdue." Her face twisted from shock to rage. She knew I'd outplayed her. She retaliated with forged utility permits and a fake city work order claiming a gas leak. I called the city, exposing her lie, and the crew left her humiliated. Then came the twist. The crew leader, Tom, handed me a manila folder. "She's got enemies at City Hall," he said. "My buddy in permits kept this shady deals, fake emergencies. You'll know what to do." The folder was dynamite. Invoices showing kickbacks to Patricia's relatives, HOA funds paying for her home repairs disguised as community expenses. She wasn't just a bully, she was a thief. I could have gone to the police, but I paused. What if she had connections? What if the case stalled? I wanted her power crushed, not dented. Henry's quip, "Check her garage," ignited a new hunt. Patricia's 3-car garage, her pride, looked oversized on satellite images. At the county records office, I found another orphan parcel, 9B, under her garage. Taxes unpaid, auction in 3 days. I bid $85 and won, owning the ground beneath her castle. I hired a lawyer, Michael, who grinned at my evidence. "She's finished," he said. "We sent a notice. Pay exorbitant rent for 9B or demolish her garage." Patricia's lawyer bailed. Her allies fled. Then came an anonymous email from a resigned HOA board member with the real budget $400 in the reserve fund. Patricia had drained it for her schemes. Her empire was a house of cards. The final blow was a community meeting I called with signatures from furious neighbors. I projected the budgets, exposed her kickbacks, and played security footage of Patricia spray painting my fence at night. The room erupted. Police, waiting outside, escorted her out as she stood, ashen. Her kingdom collapsed. 3 months later, Cedar Grove healed. A new HOA board led by gentle Margaret restored calm. Henry, on the beautification committee, approved wild welcome mat colors. Patricia's house was foreclosed, sold to a family who painted the door bright yellow. She faced felony charges, a ghost of her former self. I sold 9B to the new owners and turned 6A into a community garden, flowers, benches, a sign reading community garden. Laura and I stood there, her peace restored. I hadn't just won a war, I'd rebuilt a home.